Punk Rock Foodies Radio! Today on episode 4, SkateRat Betty makes her debut. We have an interview with Feed the Scene Denver's Savvi and Nichole, and we're also going to get into some cooking influences.
Punk Rock Foodies Radio with your hosts, Xander, Kevin, Steve, and Brian. And now, here's Kevin.
Welcome to episode 4 of Punk Rock Foodies. That was Good Riddance with My October. And my name is Kevin Wells.
Steve.
Go, Steve.
What up, everybody? Punk Rock Foodies, Steve Guerrero here.
And I'm the asshole in charge, Xander T. Here with Kevin, Steve, and filling in today at the Vicious Pig Saloon in downtown Mattersville for Brian Reinhardt is new admin to the Punk Rock Foodies Facebook group, SkateRat Betty. SkateRat, how you doing?
Hey.
What's up, fellas? Thanks for having me today.
Always. It makes this entire group look a lot better. So, so we are Punk Rock Foodies Radio on punkrockradio.net. Punk Rock Foodies is a Facebook group dedicated to bringing you good food for those of you who enjoy punk rock music. We all have a punk rock attitude. If you can't take it, go fuck yourself. Up first here with some music before we get into our little conversation we have. Here's some Dead Kennedys. This is Police Truck.
Tonight that we got the truck, we're going downtown, gonna beat up the drunks. You're gonna drive, I'll bring the beer. It's a late shift, no one to fear. And ride, how we ride. And ride, you ride. It's a roundup time with a good horse beat. We're gonna drive one screaming off the street. And ride, how we ride. Uniform and a silver badge. Play cops for real and play cops for pay. Let's ride, ride. on your dress is a kick in the ass. Let's beat your balloon till you shit in your pants. No move, child, got a big black stick. There's 6 of us, babe, so suck on my dick and ride, ride, how we ride. Let's ride, you ride. The left newspapers write quite a bit about the guys at the station, they don't give a shit. Dispatch calls, oh, you're doing something wicked. No siree, Jack, we're just giving tickets. Let's ride, ride, how we ride. Ride, ride, how we ride. Ride, ride, how we ride. Let's ride,
my meaning. I'm enchanted by the birds and my blossoms. I'm enamored by young lovers on the weekend. I like the 4th of July when bombs start flashing. And I wish I had a shiny red top, a bugle with a big brass bell would cheer me up, or maybe something bigger that could really go pop, then I could make the gardening stop. Come out to play.
This is Anthony Bourdain, and you're listening to Punk Rock Foodies Radio. These guys fucking suck.
Welcome back to Punk Rock Foodies, and that was Bad Religion's Atomic Garden. And right now we're going to get into, apparently some people out there have influences in the way they cook. I personally don't know that I have any influences other than Mexican food. I try to put salsa or something in everything.
Just because you put salsa on it doesn't necessarily make it Mexican food.
Oh, it totally does. You get a peanut butter and jelly sandwich, you put salsa on it, it's a Mexican peanut butter and jelly sandwich.
I thought cilantro did that.
Don't get me
a little cilantro on top of Tio, and
don't get me started on that. I'll tell you what, Steve is our resident Mexican.
Yeah.
Is putting
I think he would approve.
Absolutely.
But yeah, I don't have any. I don't really have any Mexican, or I don't really have any. I don't have any like influences, like any like chef influences. Like, oh, well, I always watch this, or I always watch my grandmother cook.
Really? Not even the Earl of Sandwich?
No. I learned at an early age that the sandwich was what was right for me, and I stuck with it. And, depending on what goes into my lungs is what gets put onto my sandwich.
Hence the salsa on a peanut butter and jelly.
That's from Mary Jane's kitchen. Kitchen cookbook.
I am influenced by the Earl of Green.
Steve, I know you got a background there with a lot of cooking heritage, or I guess maybe you have a heritage with a cooking background. So, what were your influences? Growing up, like why do you cook? What is it?
Yeah, I was lucky. When I was a young boy, my parents would leave me at my grandma's house while they worked, and then they'd pick me up at the end of the day. But during the course of the day, I'd be in the kitchen where, in a Mexican family, that's like the central focus point of the house. I mean, throughout the course of the day, there's always something cooking, something stewing for dinner or whatnot. So I was lucky in that sense that I had a grandma who used to cook. And, it wasn't until like about a few years ago that I'm starting to get these smells of basil and fresh cilantro and all this different ingredients that take me back, which is really kind of a cool thing. I think if she was still here, she'd be stoked on what I can do in the kitchen, and totally a direct influence from her, my aunts, and everybody just being in the kitchen, especially during Christmas time. I mean, we made tamales like a factory in the kitchen. So it was it was good growing up with that kind of influence because my grandma could cook. I was lucky in that regard. So that's probably my number one influence.
Yeah. Grandmas, I think even just our generation, that was a way of life. Nowadays, everybody goes out to eat.
Need it in 10 minutes or less now.
Yeah, exactly. And so,
Make it, eat it, and clean it in 30 minutes.
Mm-hmm. It's funny how the Dead Kennedys album came to fruition, give me convenience or give me death. And that's totally how we are as a society, want it now, want it fast, want it cheap.
I can see your Keurig makers behind you guys. As we're talking about, we all need it now, right away. I have a Keurig too.
Yeah. Well, and that's the beautiful thing about being at the Vicious Pig Saloon in downtown Mattersville. We can get anything we want whenever we want. It's a great thing.
But the saloon got a Keurig though.
Well, fuck yeah. You know what? When I used to bartend, and assholes would come and want a cup of coffee, and I'd have to go and, brew an entire pot, because one dipshit sitting in a bar wanting coffee at, 9 o'clock in the evening. I hate that fucking asshole. But I digress. SkateRat influences. Who's influenced you to cook, and how you cook?
Honestly, probably my biggest one is my dad. I grew up watching Julia Childs and stuff, but I don't cook French cuisine, really. But, my mom died when I was little, so I grew up with my dad cooking for us. And, my dad's a big guy about independence and try it yourself and, new things and all that. So, really, I grew up with you don't have to like everything, but you have to try it once kind of mentality. And, and I still, even now, if I cook dinner and my 5-year-old niece comes over, I've learned my lesson. I don't tell them what's in the dish. I just say, you got to try it. And then, and then we can go from there. But, my dad was really my biggest influence as far as that goes. I still, honestly, the venison I cooked last night, that's my dad's recipe. I've seen him make that 1,000 times. Half of the things that I do are probably direct recipes from my dad.
That's cool. A lot of people don't have that influence in a father figure. It's fun, my daughters, I tell them the same thing. You can't say you don't like it until you try it. And I even told my oldest daughter once when she was really into The Little Mermaid, when we had fish sticks, I said it was mermaid, and she ate it up, which was kind of scary. Like, you like The Little Mermaid, but you're gonna eat mermaid? Okay, fine, do it. Yeah.
My husband and I don't have kids. Kids can be a little creepy sometimes. Some of the things when my niece will come over and help me collect the chicken eggs from the chicken coop, you know, she's, oh, gross, I don't want to touch them, but then she can't wait to go inside and eat some eggs.
Yeah. Well, but she's not eating the part that came out of a chicken's vagina. You know, that's like
chickens don't have vaginas.
Okay, their butt. I don't know. But bullshit. Where the fuck does the egg come from then?
It's a vent.
Well, what was that? What was that hole that Xander was fucking?
That was a rooster, by the way.
to quote the Adam Sandler song, "If an egg can fit in there, why can't I?"
Oh shit.
No, but okay. Let's bring it back.
I think you really did have sex with the chicken, Xander. You're acting a little odd over there. Like you actually had. This is familiar territory for you.
You know what? It's none of your fucking business. Listen, my parents have ducks.
Hey, you're from Pittsburgh. It gets cold up there. It gets cold. I understand. We're not here to judge, Xander. We're not here to judge.
Wow. I need a drink. Well, okay. So my influences are the chickens at my. No. I agree.
Come up with my best recipes after having sex with a chicken. It's just that moment of.
Could
clarity.
you imagine? Think about it. You fuck an animal, and then you kill it, and then you eat it.
It's like the ultimate fuck you.
You're like, what came first, the chicken or the egg? I did.
SkateRat Betty's from Florida. This is nothing new to her.
She's like, yeah, and.
Hey, I drive a truck.
The Germans will like this. No.
Are we big in Germany now?
Like David Hasselhoff. No, but oh my gosh, it's a busy bar tonight. My influences, I actually, I am on the same. Whoa, I am on the same lines with Steve there. My grandmother, both my grandmothers. Well, I can't say they both were good cooks, but my Italian grandmother clearly was a big influence. But now she's lost her flavor and her taste buds, and she substitutes shit because it looks the same.
Oh.
So, like, I was out of paprika, so I used cayenne. It doesn't really... it doesn't help, you know? It's like, what the fuck? Like, I used red... I ran out of cayenne, so I used red M&Ms. Like, no, it doesn't... It doesn't work that way. But my mom, huge influence. I mean, my mom was a stay-at-home mom. One of 3 boys, and she cooked every night. We didn't have, like, I grew up with kids that had, you know, Taco Tuesday and Meatloaf Monday and that kind of bullshit. But, like, I grew up, it was something different every night. And the fact that, like, my dad bitches about the fact that he hasn't had a roast chicken in 3 years because my mom rotates the menu that long that, like, you're fucked. You can't. You like something, you're going to wait about 3 or 4 years before you have it again. But, so my mom, and the kitchen was open, so I could always walk in and see her cooking. But there's a big influence, too, on my dad's side. My dad's grandma, I mean, she made pierogies. And if you don't know what pierogies are, they're basically ravioli, but stuffed with mashed potatoes and cheddar cheese. And they're fucking delicious. So.
And I love carbs.
Yeah, I mean, that's a carb overload right there. And
yeah.
But my mom actually used to make a lazy pierogi, which was basically a lasagna with mashed potatoes and cheddar cheese and butter. So, and it was fucking delicious.
I would eat that.
Oh,
yeah.
So, oh, and onions. You need the sautéed onions. That just adds a flavor. But yeah. So yeah, so those are my influences. My mom and my grandmother's, mostly my mom, obviously. All right. Looks like we got to take a little break here. There's there's like a fight in the back of the bar here, so
A couple of drunken midgets.
these fuckers. Look at those fuckers go. That's hilarious. All right, so who's got a song? Who's got something to play? Kev? All right, I got. Here we go. Coming up now is I've got a good one. I got a good feeling about this one. I got The Adolescents. I Hate Children.
Great idea.
You're listening to Punk Rock Foodies Radio on punkrockradio.net.
I never travel to the house. I hate children raising right to walking mouths. I hate children hate when they make noise. I hate children burning them to another choice. I hate children such that you stupid little brat. Watch me just smack. If I may, I can go away. Hate crying and that demand. I hate children screaming one more piece of cake. I hate children hating the late night. I hate children checks looking alright. I hate children trashing out these stupid little brat. Watch me just smack. In my way, I can go away. Now I have my still kid. I hate children and people that are the red. I hate children see the story, it's called a gun. I hate children one day better run. I hate children shutting out these stupid little brat. Watch me just smack. If I'm away, I can go away.
right, that was the Riverboat Gamblers with On Again, Off Again, one of my favorite bands from Austin, Texas. Here's Xander. Okay, hold on. He's taking a shot, which we all should right now.
All right, welcome back to Punk Rock Foodie Radio on punkrockradio.net. Airing live from the Vicious Pig Saloon in downtown Mattersville. On the phone with us right now is one of the gorgeous ladies of Punk Rock Foodies, or Glopper. Does that make sense? Gorgeous ladies of Punk Rock Foodies, Savvi Nichole, everybody. Savvi, how you doing?
Hi, pretty fine. How are you?
I'm good. Good to have you on the air.
Likewise.
Some of you may know Savvi from a few of her posts. She doesn't post a lot of food. However...
That's because I'm poor.
What's that?
That's because I'm poor and I can't afford to post all the food I want to.
Because pictures cost money.
Because food costs money.
No, but you may know her. She tends to cook for a lot of bands. Somehow. I don't know, maybe it's your location? I mean, you're in where? Laramie, Wyoming, right?
Yeah, I'm in Laramie, Wyoming, but it's only 2 hours from Denver, so I pretty much cover the whole Denver, Fort Collins, Laramie scene, and I'm officially partnered with Feed the Scene on the East Coast, so that's how I get some of my hookups to feed some of these cool bands.
Excellent. Like, recently, and when I say recently, I can't recall how long ago it was. It could have been a week ago, it could have been 2 months ago. You had the Pears from New Orleans off of...
right, that was back in November.
Yeah.
Well, I cooked for them twice. I cooked for them. They played Laramie, and then they opened for the Bouncing Souls in Denver on the 30th of December, and I cooked for them for that show also.
And what did you make? Do you recall? It was a long time ago.
Well, I think in November I made some sort of white wine cream sauce pasta magic, and in December I made chili bean casserole, which I actually got from the group. I got the recipe from a group member.
Excellent. That's one of the benefits of being part of this group.
Right.
How was it taken by the band? They were happy. They were disgusted. Did they go out for pizza later?
No, they were really excited. They particularly loved the leftovers I sent with them on the road. And also I made it a point to have vegetables, because I'm not sure that bands on tour ever actually eat vegetables. So there was that too.
God, no. Why would you eat vegetables?
Right. A little bit of greenery was also necessary.
Well, I'm sure they appreciated that the next day, having to stop to use the restroom.
Well, it's better than having to rely on cheese to plug you up.
That's true. Well, the Vicodin will do it too. What other bands have you cooked for?
Well, honestly, I'm just getting started out, so I haven't cooked for a whole lot of other bands. My next couple months are really busy, though. I have Cheap Girls, Mass Intruder, kind of like spitting, Western settings, a whole lot of bands on the lineup for the next couple weeks or couple months.
Now,
that's going to be fun.
You'll have to get back to us on this, obviously, since you haven't cooked for them yet. But Masked Intruder, they wear masks.
It's true. It is true.
It's got to be.
I thankfully have encountered them with their masks on several times. So
it's going to be difficult to eat like that, I could imagine.
Well, they have mouth holes, right? They sing.
Oh yeah, they do have mouth holes and sing that way. That's right. For some reason, I was envisioning the whole mouth being covered, kind of ski mask.
Like actual intruder style?
Yeah, absolutely. Fucking name. Now, do you know if you're going to be cooking for them? Do you know if Officer Bradford will be with them, or is it just the boys in the band?
He usually is. The times I encounter them outside of concerts, he's usually around with them. This just happened today with Mass Intruder. They just announced the Denver date, and we started emailing today, so that just happened.
Oh, well, excellent. So, when is the date of that show?
Sometime in March. Hold on, let me check my calendar.
Okay, that's fine. We're good. We can wait. You are listening to Punk Rock Foodies Radio on punkrockradio.net, coming to you from the Vicious Pig Saloon in downtown Mattersville. We're on the air with PRFer, one of the gorgeous ladies of PRF, Savvi Nichole. She's currently checking her calendar. It's exciting.
Yeah, they're not on this calendar. They're actually on my calendar at work, but I think it's the third week of March. It's somewhere between Cheap Girls and kind of like spitting. That's really all I remember.
Oh, well, excellent.
There's a lot of shows in the next couple of months.
Yeah, I find it interesting, like, just, personally from being in the Northeast area, I see, like, this time of the year, between January and March, you don't get a lot of bands because it's so goddamn cold and they usually go more south. But, I mean, March, Denver in March, I mean, it's got to be a fucking cold time, too, right? I mean...
Yeah, actually, March is when we get the most of our snowstorms. They just melt a lot quicker, so there could be some interesting weather, but it's been really, really mild so far. The silver lining of climate change before shit gets real, so...
Yeah. So, you're a big road tripper. Traveling to go see bands and shit like that. Any advice for anybody that is traveling out anywhere, say, going across country to maybe, I don't know, Las Vegas at the end of May for some reason?
If anybody was, like, maybe perhaps driving across the country to this, like, bowling music event, perhaps?
Possibly.
Possibly that.
Like tips for on the road and, like, eating on the road and just making the best of it.
So I try to get real strategic about what I pack in my cooler. Cliff bars, V8, stuff that keeps you relatively nourished, but isn't exactly a whole lot of food. I don't like to spend money at the gas station. And then I actually sleep in my car because I am hobbit size. So if you can be prepared to sleep in your car comfortably, that makes going across the country a lot easier.
Excellent. Definitely would pack some blankets for that.
Yeah, I lay my seats down flat and then put a mattress pad, like one of those dorm room egg crates down. It's kind of like actually sleeping on a bed.
Yeah, you must be short.
I'm 5 foot even.
Wow, that's almost midget size.
Almost. I've got it by like half an inch. I'm totally a big kid. I'm an adult. I promise.
If you say so. Okay. What is one of your, like, go-to meals to make, just in general? Hey, I'm hungry. You know what? I'm gonna stop and pick up these couple ingredients and make this. Like, what is that meal?
It's probably actually the pasta cream sauce that I made for pears. I made that because I make it all the time. It's really simple. It's just heavy cream, white wine, and Parmesan, and then throw in whatever seasonings you want. So it's really easy to make up. I almost always have a box of white wine in my fridge.
It's a cardboard carafe.
Yes, we can pretend to make it classy. We all really know.
A grown-up juice box? I don't know, whatever.
Once I figure out how to put a straw in, we all said.
That sounds like, that's like the grown-up Capri Sun.
Doesn't that sound amazing?
Perfect. What's your top restaurant to eat at, either in Laramie or Denver or amongst your travels? What is your place to go to?
In Laramie, I have 2 places. I really like a local place called the Crowbar Grill. They mostly serve pizzas and burgers, but they get all of their meat fresh from the butcher every day here in town, and I think you can actually taste the difference. They're also the only place in town that does pizza by the slice late night. That's very important. And then our vegetarian place in town totally kicks ass. They're actually the #1 restaurant in town for like the last decade. I really like that place.
What's the name of that place?
In Denver, the name of that place is called Sweet Melissa's.
Okay.
And then in Denver, I'm still exploring all the new restaurants down there, so I don't necessarily have a favorite place yet besides maybe like Illegal Pete's, the burrito place.
I've heard great things about Illegal Pete's from many bands. They're very supportive of the music scene.
Yeah, they're really supportive. If you tell them online that you're going to be coming through one of their Colorado locations on tour, you can register ahead of time and they'll send you a coupon for a free burrito for everyone in your band. So they will also feed you, but they also put on shows a lot too.
So any bands listening to that or listening to this that heard that
Free food.
online Illegal Pete's, I've heard they're huge supporters of the music industry, and this is now more than one person who has said that. So get online, let them know you're coming through Colorado area, and get yourself some free burritos for you and the band. And that's the one thing, burritos apparently is like the big band food. I mean, I'm not a huge burrito fan. Maybe it's my Northeast upbringing.
Yeah, it's usually East Coast people. You just don't know.
I mean, I don't know. You know what? I had a conversation with Kevin about this, and my biggest issue with this is the fucking rice. They load that rice in there, and I don't know.
Yeah, that's funny you say that because a real burrito, like a true burrito, doesn't have rice in it. It's the meat and onions and cilantro and maybe some cheese, but probably not. Rice and beans should be on the side.
See, okay, you totally bummed me out with the cilantro and the lack of cheese.
To taste the lack of cheese. Like,
I am a cheese whore.
People, I'm sure we'll put cheese on it anyway.
I'm a cheese whore. I need it in there. That's the one thing that keeps me from being vegan completely is cheese. Well, cheese and eggs.
Yeah, cheese is pretty great.
Excellent. All right, well, it was great talking to you, Savvi. Do you have anything you're plugging or want to let anybody know about or anything like that?
There's some things in the works, but I'm not sure I have anything specifically right now besides, if you're a band coming through Laramie, Fort Collins, or Denver, hit me up.
Okay, and you can get in contact with her on the Facebook. She's all over the Punk Rock Foodies page, so you got to go there, become a member, check out the great recipes and foods that everyone's making. Savvi made an awesome meal for the pairs that she found on the page, so that's one of the other great aspects of Punk Rock Foodies. So check it out. Thank you, Savvi, for being with us.
Thanks for having me.
You're listening to Punk Rock Foodies Radio on punkrockradio.net. This is Chaos Delivery Machine with The Road Not Taken.
From the rowdies to the riots, from the insane to the free, from the barriers to the beaches and the ghettos in between. So we sail suspiciously through our windows every night to see our neighbors' actions, see what that's alright. The kings, the queens, the filthy and the fiends, we all know the answer, or we justify the means. Can't we see that's what's wrong? Or is the work too hard? Is the road too long? From the rallies to the riots, from the insane to the free, from the valleys to the beaches and the rest off in between, from the hills down to the alleys, from the freeways to the trees, from the mountains to the trailers and the ghettos in between. So we roll the steps or the grounds, pass by on the street. Don't they say although the strangers, keep your eyes to your feet. The jocks, the brains, the scarlet and the stains. Will we ever get together? Will the song remain the same? Can't we see that's what's wrong? Is the work too hard? Is the road too long? From the rallies to the riots, from the insane to the free, from the valleys to the beaches and the rest off in between, from the hills down to the alleys, from the freeways to the trees, from the mountains to the trailers and the ghettos in between. From the churches to the brothels, from the prisons to the punks, from the junkies to the royals and the children in the dark, from the dreamers to the cynics, from the saints down to the rich, from the city to the suburbs and the homeless on the streets, from the rallies to the riots, from the insane to the free, from the cities to the suburbs and the ghettos in between, from the rallies to the riots, from the insane to the free, from the cities to the suburbs and the ghettos in between. I used to have a home with a room and a bed, a porch and a driveway with a big garage, but I traded it in. I kept some faith and laid my head down every night, and it seemed so far away. It seemed so far away. Remember me now, things always change. 5 long years are gone. I things I saw, I learned some things about myself. I guess it came the hard way. Now I know what counts. Got one prayer, it's in your confidence. Know all the places, don't wanna be. Everyone's gone, there's no one, just me. Remember me now, things always change. 5 more years are gone. I have sometimes sleeping my wrong. I know I'll never be the same. Remember me now, things always change. 5 more years are gone. I have sometimes sleeping my wrong. No, I'll never be the same. Remember me next time I go away. For the first time in my life, I wanna stay. I can count on one hand. Here today, only things that matter to me anyway. And it seems so far away. It seems so far away. Remember me now, things always change. 5 more years are gone. I have some time, sleeping my wrong. I know I'll never be the same. Remember me now, things always change. 5 more years are gone. I have some time, sleeping my wrong. I know I'll never be the same.
All right. And that was The Bouncing Souls with Kate is Great. And now here's Xander.
Hey, yes, we are on Punk Rock. You are listening to Punk Rock Foodies Radio on punkrockradio.net, coming to you from the Vicious Pig Saloon in downtown Mattersville.
Good eye, mate.
Yes, thanks to the Australians down under, as opposed to the Australians up over. So, yeah, that was pretty cool that Savvi, you know, she cooks for bands as they come through town on that, was it Feed the Scene? And she's on that Feed the Scene Denver, because she lives, as you heard, she lives in Laramie, which is close to Denver. So, well, it's funny, when I was doing that interview, I was thinking, who would be a band that you guys would want to cook for or eat with? And let me tell you, I have the right answer. So, you go ahead and give me yours, and at the end, I will tell you what the correct answer would be. So, Kevin, what band would you like to cook for and or eat with?
I would actually go the other route and make them cook for me. I would go to the store and collect a bunch of ingredients and kind of like what do you call it? How was it? There used to be a show where they just get a bunch of ingredients. I don't know. There's a cooking show, but they just get random ingredients and then you force them to cook. But
Is that Chopped?
I'd get the implants, and because I believe I've been told from them that Ken, Connie, Chris Daly, and Rob Ramos, all three are all pretty good chefs in their own right. So
Okay.
I'd give them a bunch of ingredients and tell them, make me some shit.
Okay, so they would...
I'm not so sure they'd be up for that, but
Yeah, and when they tell you to...
I'm sure they'd rather...
When they tell you to go fuck yourself...
then I'd want to have a steak with, I don't know, Nirvana.
Hey, if it brings Kurt back from the dead, why not, you know, right?
Yeah.
So you want to hang out with Chris Novoselic and Dave Grohl?
Not especially,
Okay,
no.
then. Well, you know what? That's why I thought about this during the last song. I was like debating, and then I realized exactly the perfect band. So, yeah. So, SkateRat or Steve, you think you can answer this question, or should we go to SkateRat on this one? Band you'd like to cook for, or eat with, or both, or whatever.
I got a drink coming, so let's get SkateRat
right.
SkateRat in here.
All right, SkateRat Betty. Who would you like to?
I I would honestly want to eat with Bad Religion, just because I think that I would want to sit there and talk to Greg Graffin for a really long time. As far as for cooking for someone or having them cook for me, yeah, I hate Nirvana. I would totally let that asshole make me dinner. I know Kurt Cobain isn't going to be making shit, but you know.
I don't know. I heard Kurt Cobain's dishes would blow your mind.
Oh, I'm a big Nirvana fan, and that's hilarious.
Honestly, I didn't have a problem with him until he killed himself, and then after that, I boycotted him.
There's a lot of family members had that same issue, I think.
Yeah.
Well, again, the rest of his stuff is still mind-blowing. It just kind of went downhill after he killed himself.
Yeah. Sorry, all you Nirvana fans, if we struck a chord. Steve, band.
Well, someone's got to strike one. Kurt ain't striking any chords.
Steve, band that you'd like to eat with, cook for, apparently have cooked for you.
Yeah, I got this. All right. I'd like to have a Sunday barbecue during a Raider game with Kerry King from Slayer, because fucking Slayer kicks ass. And I think that would be so heavy and so goddamn fun, you know? I don't know if I can keep up drinking with him, but I'd give it a shot. I know he's probably drinking a lot of Jaeger, so...
No, he'd probably bring his... he's got his own whiskey. He's got Cold Cock Whiskey.
Well, that's him?
If you're listening, maybe you can sponsor the show, Cold Cock Whiskey. You can buy it at your
We'll mention you every episode.
the liquor store. It's Cold Cock Whiskey.
Okay, calm down, Kevin. They're not paying us yet. But then what's smart, Steve, is you picked one person. You know?
Yeah. That's the only time I'll be smart on this conversation. So.
Well, that's the funny thing. As I was thinking about it, I was like, well, there's like bands. I don't think I would want to eat with an entire band because, there's probably assholes in the band, and like I don't want to deal with this dickhead, or it's like, oh, Black Flag would be cool, but I'm sure Henry Rollins is an asshole in real life when you sit with them at a dinner table, or And then I started to narrow it down to what reason would I want to eat with these people. And I thought the stories. And I've got the winner.
Okay.
Me First and the Gimme Gimmes.
Okay.
Not only do you get the benefits of the Me First and the Gimme Gimme stories, you get the benefits of the Lagwagon stories, the Foo Fighters stories, and No Use for a Name stories, early years. You get the No Effects stories. You get the I said Lagwagon, didn't I? And you get the Swinging Utters stories. And now You Cunt, and all the Fat Records stories. So it's like, it's a whole plethora. And even if you get them on tour when like Fat Mike can't play, and you get Jay Bentley, there's your Bad Religion stories. If who.
I think you're kind of cheating.
A little bit. But you know what? They are a band, and I would cook for them as long as I got the stories. Of course, they'd only be like an hour or two together, so there's not enough time. But I just
see, and then you'd get like two members that you kind of wasted them, and then they would hate you, like, dude, you never asked me about any of my cool stories. Fuck that guy.
Well, I also feel like it would never go that way. It would just be like a normal conversation, like almost like, "Hey, what'd you do today?" kind of bullshit, like a Seinfeld episode, but with some really cool dudes.
You wouldn't go station to station around the table with a notebook with like specific questions for each of them and a microphone. All right, well now I got you. Put your fucking steak down, motherfucker. I got some questions for you. I made that. Now answer my goddamn questions.
No, it's funny because I was also thinking like I don't know. I'm not like a star fucker, and I don't get like mesmerized by, oh god, look who it is, and especially in our scene. Like
sounds like you would. Sounds like you would. You just got all woozy over the Me First and the Gimme Gimme.
I fucking ate breakfast and dinner with the lead singer
wood right now.
What?
Are you sporting wood right now talking about that?
Listen, I had breakfast and dinner with the lead singer to MRFer, and I tell you what, it wasn't a big deal. Okay, so I even slept in his fucking apartment twice, 2 nights in a row. So or 3 nights, 2 nights out of 3. Okay.
Did you notice how you slept really well one night, but were walking kind of funny the next day?
Did you notice?
He does that to everybody.
Did you notice? I also slept with the guitar player for MRF. However, there was a pillow in between the two of us.
All right, so we're gonna go to a break now.
No, but I feel like in this scene, like everybody's cool and like it's not like a big fucking deal. Like, yeah, I would probably if I saw Fat Mike now. I mean, I saw him once after a Warped Tour. We're walking behind, like back when Warped Tour was cool. And we're just walking backstage, and Pennywise is grilling up hot dogs, and Fat Mike is there, and you know, and I said hi, and my brother actually had been pulled up on stage to sing with Pennywise to do the first verse of the fucking cover they do, "Stand By Me." Yeah, and he sang the first verse. Jim gave him a beer. He's fucking 14 years old at the time. And I'm sure the statute of limitations is gone by now for contributing to the delinquency of a minor.
Why? What did he do with him?
Well, Eli pounds the beer, smashes the can on his head, and jumps back into the pit. And Pennywise goes off and plays the rest of the song. And then afterwards, we're walking backstage, and there's Fat Mike grilling up hot dogs, and Pennywise has set up the grill and runs over. Hey man, what are we eating? And fucking feeds Eli, and we're just hanging out a little bit. But it wasn't like, oh my god, that's Fat Mike, that's Jim. Oh, it was just like we're just a bunch of dudes, you know. And
when I met Mike Palm that one time, which was recently actually in Colorado, when I was out there, I went to a little tiny hole in the wall called Phil's Radiator Shop. There were maybe 10 of us in that whole show. And I brought 4 of them with me. So, yeah, I mean, afterwards, like, he was, like, the coolest guy I've ever met. He was like, yeah, you want to hold my guitar? Hold my guitar. Let's take some pictures. The only few times I've ever been invited to hang out with, you know, like, Pennywise or Vale or anybody, I am the biggest introvert. I will tuck tail and run. And it's honestly, it's terrible. I mean, you'll see me joke about it on Punk Rock Foodies and stuff about I can't sleep on your couch, haha. But I'm serious. I shouldn't have let into this, but yeah. So I mean, honestly, half the time when I've been able to meet somebody, I'm like, no, I'd really
of this,
rather not. Thanks.
You have surgical gloves and surgical mittens on your feet.
No, I don't do that. I don't do that. I'm not like a germaphobe, no. But yeah, I have severe OCD and bipolar.
We're all nut jobs. We're all nut jobs.
Oh, yeah.
I noticed that every time you take a sip of your beer, you have to put it down 3 times.
No, but I'll like, the table you were at last night drinking your margarita, like, I would not have been able to set it down without setting it down in the middle of the pattern in the tile on that table.
Wow.
And I won't even know that I'm doing it. I've had other people tell me, do you know that you're doing that? I'm like,
wow.
No, I'm not doing that.
Wow, SkateRat, that's, you're fucked up. Hey, why don't we play some music and let's get the fuck out of here and go get some wings and a couple of beers and some ginger ale for SkateRat.
You're listening to Punk Rock Foodies Radio on punkrockradio.net. This is Gorilla Biscuits. Fuck you.
What do you mean? It's time. That's what we grew up. I don't want any fight. If I can find my yard to do. Kids, bad, rain out the back door. Fast, and the men not there before they had their nose. In the air, with nothing that they cannot see. This goes on one screen, not any stage. Dive, making them more alive. They coded messages.
that's it for us. Thank you to the Vicious Pig Saloon in downtown Mattersville for having us here. Thanks to the fellas down under at punkrockradio.net. Thanks to Savvi Nichole for the interview, talking to us. That was a nice surprise. And SkateRat Betty, thanks for filling in for that D-bag Brian Reinhardt.
Who couldn't show up. Thanks for having
absolutely.
me.
Anytime you're in the downtown Mattersville area, swing on by to the Vicious Pig Saloon. We're usually here. We enjoy to abide in alcoholic beverages and other stuff. So, plus,
this is the saloon I'll make an exception for.
plus the chef here is amazing. So, so check out Burning Rose Studios for all of your video needs, and MRF Records just because. Also, of course, check out Punk Rock Foodies on Facebook. We're a kick-ass group, over 2,600 members, and still growing. And we've got big surprises coming in July, so you got to come on and join. It's an open group. Everyone's welcome, unless you're a dick.
Unless you're a dick.
So this was Punk Rock Foodies Radio on punkrockradio.net. Take care, everybody. Bone Ape Tit. Stop recording.
The ice age is coming, the sun's zooming in, engines stopping it, the wheat is going thin, a nuclear arrow, but I have no fear, 'cause London is drowning. I live by the river. Now get this! London calling, yes, I was there too. And you know what they said? Well, some of it was true. London calling at the top of the dial. And after all this, won't you give me a smile?